since we didn't get all the facts, I'm disappointed in some of the things that were brought out in this investigation, yes, but we didn't hear it all. So I've been one that said continuously from the start that we should get all the facts and then make decisions based on that. We didn't get all the facts. He chose to do this based on his own reasons, whether it be for a Supreme Court ruling or for his family, whichever that might be. That's where we are today.
How much of John Rowland's actions are responsible for bringing us to the point where we are today?
Oh, there's no question that his actions and his lies to the press early on that brought out this investigation are all self-inflicted. There's no question about that.
Would you describe him as shattered, at peace? How would you describe him?
I would say resigned, and acceptance was more the tone that he was. You know, there was a little, as I said, we joked about a few personal things, so he still was able to laugh a little bit. But again, we've had a personal relationship for over 20 years, so I can talk to him a little differently than a politician, so to speak, more as a friend, and that's basically what we talked about.
Lou, can you talk about Jody for a while? Go ahead, Mark.
Was it the residence that you met with Jody?
Yes, yes.
And then he called you after that to inform you personally?
Well, I had already known that, but he wanted to talk to me and thank me mostly for my support over the years and my help, and asked me to be there, and I told him I would be there and I would do anything I could to help him, and I also said the same to the Lieutenant Governor when I spoke to her, that anything I can do to help in this transition, I would be right there to do whatever I could.
When did you speak to the governor? I'm sorry, I came in late.
About an hour and a half ago.
Hour and a half, and he told you what he was doing today? And,
well, he said, you already know what's going on. I said yes, and then we talked about...
Can you talk about Jody, Lou?
Yes.
A little bit, like what she's going to be like as governor?
Well, I think she's well respected on both sides of the aisle, and she's well respected by the people of the state of Connecticut. I think she will have probably a few bumps in the transition, but as soon as she gets there, she'll be an effective governor because I respect her. She's got many years of public service in the legislature, so I think she's a well-qualified individual to take over.
Should she clean house, or should she get rid of most of the department heads? Or?
That's a decision that she'd have to make. I would. If I sat down with her and talked about it, we'd have to talk about a lot of things before we got to that point. I'm not going to give her advice unless she asks for it.
And did the governor say when his resignation would be effective?
No, I heard that it's July 1st, though, from other sources.
Do you know why it's July 1st as opposed to immediately?
Probably didn't give the time to affect the transition, my guess. I didn't ask that question. I didn't think it was something that I wanted to talk about. I was more concerned about he and his family and not about the mechanics.
Did he say what the next step is for him in his life?
No, he didn't. He said, I'm sure God has a plan for me. I sure wish he'd let me know soon.
As far as over at the residence later, we're hearing as many as 80 people have been invited to come over there. Do you have any?
I know he's meeting with his staff and he's meeting with the commissioners. And after that, that's before he does his 6 o'clock
Are you going to be there for that 6 o'clock?
I'm going to go over earlier than that. He asked me. He said I could come over at any time. He'd like me to come over early if I could, and I said I would.
So he's meeting with staff and commissioners throughout the day at the residence?
Well, at 4:30 he's meeting with staff, and at 5, I believe, he's meeting with commissioners, and then he's going to do the 6 o'clock stuff.
Lou, how are you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling very sad because, it's a sad day, not just for John Rowland and his family, but for the state of Connecticut to have something like this happen.
How long did you and the governor speak this morning?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, and he called you around 11 o'clock?
No, it was before that, about 11.
And basically you talked to him about the logistics of today, but also about your friendship with him?
Yes. And he thanked me for, my support over the years, not this situation specifically, but over the years, which I tried to do my best as a Republican, supporting a Republican governor in many of the proposals that he's put through. And I thanked him for all that he's done for the state of Connecticut because, in my opinion, up until this point, he's done a good job for the state of Connecticut. If you look back to the University of Connecticut, the arts, the cities and towns in the state of Connecticut, that what he's done and brought to this. I think he did a good job, and even the Democrats acknowledge that. So unfortunate that we end like this, but he's done a good job for the state of Connecticut.
Where were you called?
I was in my car on the way here.
Lou, you say he did a good job for the state of Connecticut, but there's been story after story now about other people in his administration accepting gifts, work done at their homes, questions of it. Alabozic has pleaded guilty. Did he set the wrong tone for his administration? I mean, did he provide a bad example for the state and for his people?
I don't know, because I didn't see any of that during the years that he was doing all these other things for the state of Connecticut. I didn't see any of that. That's for other people to judge. In my opinion, no, but that's for other people to judge.
Do you think impeachment was inevitable?
I think it was heading in that direction. We didn't hear all the facts. We had another week of the investigations, and then we would have heard some more. Mark Ryan was scheduled to testify this week, which would have brought something, I think, from the other side a little bit. So we didn't hear it all, but I think you're right, it was heading in that direction.
Did he say anything did he give you a reason for today? Why he chose to...
No, he didn't, and I didn't ask.
Do you think it was the Supreme Court decision?
I think that might have been part of it. He just said his only explanation is, I think we've reached the point that it's the right thing to do. As I've said to others, yesterday being Father's Day, I'm sure he sat with his family and saw what toll it's been taking on them. And as you know, I told him a while back that I thought he should do what's best for he and his family. That's the decision he should make. And I think that might have had something to do with it. I'm sure it was a combination of things, but it probably culminated yesterday with...
So he said he thought it was the right thing to do, though?
Yes, at this point.
Did he tell you that he actually sat with his family, or you're just...
No, that's my own feeling, because I know how strong he is with his kids, and that's the way I feel. I've always had a concern about how it was affecting he and his family more than anything else, secondary to the state of Connecticut and what's going on.
Someone had said to me this morning there were some people who were gloating over this, feeling a sense of jubilation. He's gone, but I sense from you that you took a little more matters into account. That this was not an easy decision for him to make, and it certainly has been tough on the state of Connecticut.
Well, it will be. I think it will be a smooth transition. I think Jody Rell is well qualified to take over, and I think the transition will be all right. Those people that might be gloating on this, those are people that have not accepted the fact that he got elected the first time. So, those that might gloat on other people's unfortunate circumstances, whether they brought them on themselves or not, people that would gloat at that, I don't have any respect for.
How tough has this been for the Republican Party?
Well, it's been tough for everyone in politics. It's been tough for all the legislators and everyone concerned. I think that anybody is concerned about themselves and their own party is being selfish. Today, the concern to me is about the governor, his family, and the state of Connecticut. And those are the things we should be concerned about, not how it affects us personally. We'll have plenty of time to think about that later.
Did you talk to the governor?
Yes, I spoke to the governor about an hour and a half ago, and I also spoke to the lieutenant governor about an hour ago.
And what was your feeling from the governor? I mean, this is a tough day for him, no doubt.
Well, he was resigned to the fact that this was what he was going to do. It was a mood of acceptance more than anything else. He was not his usual jovial self, but he wasn't extremely sad either. He said, I've got to do what I got to do, and this seemed to be the right time, and that's when I made this decision. I didn't press him on it because I feel sad for him. I feel sad for the state.
And Jody, you spoke to her also? And
well, she was in a very serious mood, and she said, we'll see what transpires the next couple of days, and I offered her whatever help I could to help in this situation, and she thanked me for that, and said, we'll be talking continuously, so we'll see what happens.
Is she up to the task, you think?
Oh, she definitely is up to the task. She's been in the legislature for a number of years. She's well qualified. The governor had over these 9 years, had relied on her quite a bit for her counsel and for everything else. And she's well respected by both sides of the aisle. So she's capable, well respected, not only by the legislators, but by the people of the state of Connecticut. So I think she'll be able to do a great job.
Any idea where the governor will go from now?
No, we didn't talk about